Christmas Eve, can you believe it? Did you get wet, sir? I got soaked just crossing the yard.
Andy will be taking notes, nothing formal, just to keep track. Let me help you. Can I call you Francis?
I saw two people downstairs.
Our chat will be different.
Oh, yes, I see.
I'm sorry. We should have introduced ourselves in the lift. DCI Larry Frank might get called in by counter-terrorism at times like this. A different eye. This is DC Andrew Peters.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Would you like anything to drink before we start? Tea, coffee, you can cool down. There must be a working telephone somewhere.
Just water, please.
Andy? Legal services. Coppers never got up to the 10th floor. But it seems they were the only few rooms left in the building.
Decorators brought in while the old man's in the Canaries. Lucky bugger.
Shall we make a start? You took the call?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Somebody had to?
Of course. How long do you think it took?
About 10 minutes.
Do you remember the exact time of the call?
Sometime after 11. My shift started at 10. I'd taken 3 calls. Nothing serious, just lonely people wanting a sympathetic voice. It gets like that, especially at this time of year. Then I made my cup of coffee, black. I get scared I'll fall asleep on the line. Stupid, isn't it? I never have. Not in 10 years. Just a little after 11, I'd say.
You didn't make a note?
What?
We spoke with Jane Trusser, your team leader. She says volunteers always note the time.
Oh, on the yellow. Yes, we always note the time on the yellow. But I was very... well, I really don't know why.
Look, I should have mentioned, we're not here to judge.
I think I'll just drink some of this water now, if you don't mind. How many so far?
18.
18 days?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Everything's been done. Our people are very good.
Injured?
51 the last we heard.
Children?
Please, Francis, sit down.
Why isn't there a woman here? This is crazy. Why all these stupid questions? We should be doing something. I have to go. We can't just sit here doing nothing. There must be something we can do. Get out of my way.
Quiet, informal conversation. Nothing more. Of course, if you would like a female officer, DC Peters can call down to the duty sergeant.
They'll all be on the scene, I imagine, sir.
If you're judged, you can't help it. It's all so unreal. Horrible. I judge myself, for God's sake. I took the call. I could have done something. Why did I get so... I didn't even know at the time. Christ. I've been a volunteer for 10 years. We always note the time on the yellow. How could I have forgotten that?
It could happen to anyone. Let's go back. Sometime after 11, you picked up the phone, expecting another sad, lonely voice. But this one was different.
Yes. Yes. It's strange. I keep asking myself if it was actually me. You know how it is sometimes, it all gets so unreal. That's it, that's how we experience this sort of thing, I suppose. What do you think?
We have what you've written, what you put on the form. The yellow. Very helpful, lots of details. You said he had an accent.
Middle Eastern, definitely. That much was very clear.
Not North African.
I'm sorry? Is there a difference? No, I'm sure. You see, I had this picture straight away of a young man with a beard.
I don't understand. Did this person actually say that?
Oh, of course not. It was just a picture I had in my head, but it went with the voice, don't you see? Arabic. Definitely Arabic. Oh, but then that's not just the Middle East, is it? He could have been Tunisian or Moroccan or Libyan even. God, I'm such a fool. This is a nightmare.
I'm sorry, you've started. The traffic along the embankment was absolute hell.
Who are you, for God's sake?
I should introduce you. Mr. Burton is our Home Office representative on these occasions.
Oh, the Home Office. I see.
I shan't be interfering, but you must understand that in these terrible circumstances we have a great concern.
Yes, of course.
I'll sit over there. You'll hardly notice me.
Oh, Mr. Burton is very good at that.
think we were talking about the yellow.
The yellow, yes, that's right. I put everything down on it a few minutes later. My head was still spinning, but Jane said write it all down quickly now while it's fresh, so I put it all down from my rough notes. Every detail. Like a machine. I remember thinking, Fran, be a machine.
There's lots of details here. I'd like to look at one or two of them, if I may. You said there was a noise at the beginning, in the background.
A sort of thudding.
Machinery? Electronics? Some sort of factory nearby?
No, it wasn't a factory. Just a noise. A sort of rhythm, but not quite even. It's so hard now when you look back. There must be so many involved in a night like this. You never think. You imagine, of course. Mothers, fathers, husbands, children. People come together, don't they? Especially at Christmas, they make arrangements to meet. You get that little ache inside, all nasty and nice at the same time. Oh, did you really say it was 1810?
The noise, a rhythm, but not quite even. Anything else?
Oh, how should I know? It was just a bloody noise. I was trying to listen to him, for God's sake. Sorry.
That's okay.
My hand was shaking. I remember that. I thought I'd dropped the phone. I knew it was real, you see. Right from the start. Not a hoax. A real call. Here now on Christmas Eve. I knew it right there in my gut. I remember thinking, for God's sake, Fran, you must remember to ask not just the street name. That's the easy bit, but you must ask which city. You all think that the bomb must be here in London, but well, what if it's in Bristol or Dublin or Berlin? It's a phone call, for God's sake. It could come from anywhere. Oh, I feel a bit sick.
You did see one of the doctors downstairs?
Yes.
Oh, we could take a short break, pop out, give you a couple of moments to yourself.
No, it's all right. Just nausea. Are you sure we shouldn't be doing something? I feel like we should be doing something. All those poor people out there. Don't know what came over me.
More water?
The doctor said I was all right. There was no need. Besides, I was really happy to help. But does this help?
Of course, Francis.
You're being extremely brave, if I may say so.
Drink it nice and slow.
Let's go back to the form.
The yellow.
Yes, the other. Took me through.
There was just breathing at the start. Heavy breathing. I remember thinking, oh God, this is the last thing I need at the start of my shift.
Sex callers. Don't believe it.
Occupational hazard for the women. But even men get them. Shabby bedsit fantasists.
Not exactly the kind of listening you volunteered for.
And so boring. I mean, who do they think we are? On and on, the same old things like some never-ending Catholic catechism.
Blocking all your other calls. There should be something in the Sexual Offences Act.
But it wasn't a sex caller this time. What happened next?
There was that noise. The rhythm. His breathing, uneven, agitated like he'd been running. Then his voice. Foreign accent, Arabic. He said, I remember this so clearly. You listen hard, lady, I only say once. My stomach turned, I knew, I just knew. This was no hoax, this was for real. I grabbed my pen. It fell to the ground, rolled along the floor. I stretched for it like a mad thing. My coffee must have spilt. Oh my God, that was why.
What is it?
That was it, don't you see? That was why I forgot to put the time down. That was why I forgot about the yellow.
No one was there to help.
Oh, I was alone, for God's sake. Didn't they even tell you that?
I thought volunteers worked in teams.
Well, we do, but this was an overnight shift. You get 2 or 3 others at most. And, well, Christmas Eve. It's hardly a popular slot. There was just one other name on the roster, and he'd called in sick at the last moment.
Your team leader?
Jane. She wasn't there either. Team leaders used to sleep in bunk beds on the 2nd floor, but they stopped all that now. She was on call from her own home.
So you really were on your own?
Yes.
Not easy.
It's all right. Get used to it. Get used to lots of things in the phone room.
Let's get back to his words. You listen hard, lady. I only say once.
Yes. These were his words.
What happened then?
I got my pen back in the end. I wanted to try to, but the thumping got louder and louder, and there was this mad row suddenly starting on the line.
An argument?
Yes.
Several people shouting at each other, all in the same room.
Oh, I suppose so.
Anything about their voices? Was he saying anything the man you were talking to on the phone? Well?
I really couldn't make out any one voice. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this. Oh, I hope I don't get sick again.
All in Arabic?
Yes. Or Tunisian. Oh, sorry.
How many?
Well, how should I know something like that?
Try imagining it. Again. In your mind.
I'm really sorry about the beard. I mean, what was I thinking? I mean, that was a crazy thing to say.
Don't worry about it. It's how you work things out at the time. That moment. The row. Take your time. Go back in your mind. How many voices do you think you hear?
3.
3 in addition to the man on the phone.
Yes. 4 altogether.
Good. What then?
People across the road, I'm thinking you can't if you come off Terrace Road, where I was parked, it's an absolute car down. It's facing towards
What do you think?
Well, she's certainly intelligent.
sensitive. But you do rather worry, don't you?
Makes the call at 11:23, according to the log. Then it isn't until 11:52 that the 999 call comes into us. He actually says the conversation with the young man took hardly more than 10 minutes.
20 minutes unaccounted for.
So, you do really wonder, don't you, what she was doing?
Here you are. I think we should arrange for some refreshments. DC Peters will accompany me in this little errand as I have a few short calls to make downstairs.
Tea and biscuits?
Really, I'm not hungry.
It's 4 in the morning. After all you've been through, you'll need to eat something.
Yes. I see. Is it really 4 in the morning?
12 minutes past.
We should be saying Happy Christmas.
Yes, indeed we should.
I suppose you'll be celebrating later with all your family.
Yes.
I thought so. It was in your smile. Grandchildren?
Yes. 6 in all. And you know, this time last year, we had our first great-grandson. You know, on my weekly visits, we play Wrinkly Face. I always lose.
His mother is probably putting a Christmas stocking at the bottom of his cot at this very moment. This is the first time. The very first since it happened.
Cry as much as you like.
That's what we're supposed to say.
Better?
A little.
You're being awfully brave, you know.
Am I?
The Hay Wain by John Constable. Do you like it?
Yes. Familiar. Friendly somehow.
You see those 2 figures on the right? Well, that's the farmer leading his horse back to the farm after a day in the fields. See the confidence, the strength, the clarity of line. You know, it's almost as though Constable himself was saying, I know where I stand in this world.
Mission impossible getting served at that kiosk.
This is the frame. Ah, digestives and McVitie's, my very favourite.
DC Peters found a packet of digestive biscuits in his locker.
Still chucking it down. Who'd be out there, eh?
Shall we continue?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Never. 1 lump or 2?
I don't eat sugar.
The man with the Arabic accent. Young or old?
Young.
Teenage?
Yes, I think so.
Here's the misget train from the cradle these days.
How old did you say? 16? 17?
How should I know something like that from a phone?
I thought in your line of work.
But we never get to meet them, for God's sake. We never see who they really are. Sometimes it's just a one call and you don't ever hear from them again. Did they actually throw themselves off that railway bridge?
Take a guess.
I'm sorry?
Their ages. Doesn't matter if you're wrong.
16, maybe?
And the others? The people shouting.
Older. 20s, I'd say.
3 young men. I wonder why they chose the boy.
Ah, sorry, excuse me. I must take this. Hello, Burton here. Yes? When? Are you sure? An hour ago. I see. So you're on to that. Well, keep on going. Yes, yes. I'll still be here, so let me know as soon as you're ready. Okay? Thank you. Bye.
More news?
Not really.
Well, perhaps it would just be the 18 then.
ماما وني اشوف كل شيء فتحت لي ماما التي افشني انا اسمي بعرف نمشي ناس ماما افريقيا ماني يا ماما ديتي يا مامي نمشي انا اسمي نمشي نتدرب.
This must be very tedious for you.
You know, every morning I say to my locker room mirror, Andy, today you're going to learn something new. And you know what? I'm never wrong.
You've picked up the phone. You heard the noise, the young man, his accent, his words.
You listen hard, lady.
The row, the shouting. Then it says here, in the yellow, that you tried to ask him.
I knew. I was so sure. I wanted to say, I know who you are, for God's sake. So just tell me the exact place, the exact time, so I can put down the phone and make the call.
But they didn't.
He didn't what?
They didn't stop arguing and tell you.
No, they didn't. They just kept going on, and well, I couldn't understand any of it because it was all in Arabic.
You're tired?
My ear still hurts. Can you believe that? Hurts like hell on a long call. Especially if the voices are low or difficult to understand. You press harder and harder, you can't stop yourself. You want to change the phone to the other side, but then you might miss something. Even a single word can be so important, especially on a red.
A red?
Phone room jargon. Red call means attempt now. Caller is attempting suicide as you take the call. Amber is active risk, may attempt at any time. Green is everything else that isn't a wind up, a silent or a hang up. This call would have been a red.
Attempt now.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes. It was.
You can't help but wonder though why they did it. You know, terrorists don't do bomb warnings these days, do they? Like in Paris or 7/7, riding a bus or a tube with a backpack full of explosives, driving into a crowded market. So why do it? Why pick up the phone to warn me? Were there other bombs at the scene? Of course you wouldn't answer that question, would you?
You should wear proper headsets.
I'm sorry?
Andy is thinking about the pain you just described. Aren't old-fashioned telephone receivers a bit out of place on a helpline?
Not really. They keep you human. You wouldn't want the callers to start thinking you're working for the HMRC.
Oh, that would make them feel suicidal.
The call.
The call.
Hurrah. The Arabic. You tried to shout over.
It was so hard. I can't tell you how difficult it was. I was screaming at them. They still ignored me. Can you believe it? I've broken all the helpline rules. But what could I do? Thank God it stopped at last.
The argument ended.
Yes. I don't know how or why, but it stopped. Just that noise. That dreadful thumping still, as if it was right inside my head. Then he turned all his anger on me. My stomach turned. I just wanted him to get to the words. The place, the address, the time. I just want to know about that stupid bomb, for God's sake. I was screaming inside. But I had to keep calm. Trust is so important on a call. They taught us that on our first training day. All you have is the connection. Nothing to see, nothing to touch. Just what you hear. Or don't hear. Things can be made or broken in those first few seconds. Sometimes there aren't any words. Just silence. The hiss of the light. A lot start that way. But you get an instinct. You get to know it. It's as if you actually feel the person sitting right there.
In the silence?
Yes. In the silence. You must all think I'm mad.
Why do it?
What do you mean?
Late night shifts. Murderers. Rapists. Not to mention all those unfortunate suicides.
Don't forget the sex calls. I'll go bonkers.
I fell off my bicycle once and broke my arm. I was away from the phone room for 6 whole weeks. I was bereft.
Really?
Yes. It's just, I don't know, being there with people on the edge. After all, our lives are so comfortable these days, aren't they? Clicking on a mouse all day and then sitting there with a microwave meal on your knee while you watch the latest atrocity playing out merrily on the TV. You learn more from 1 minute with a caller. Although in my particular case it seems I've learnt nothing at all.
Let's get back. The young man.
Boy. Teenager, we said, didn't we? Out of his wits. You could hear it in his voice. Why had they chosen him, for God's sake, and what had they done with his head? How could a young boy like that possibly cope with what was going on around him? I don't have children of my own, but if I did... so bad.
Young people are tougher than we think.
Try working in juvenile crime. Never a dull moment.
The mind makes a boundary. That's how I see it. A place inside yourself where you don't have to think. We all do it in a crisis. But what if you can't get back? What if you get stuck in that cold, inhuman bit of who you are? Is that where it comes from, do you think? Fanaticism. Mad stare of an ISIS suicide bomber.
It says here, on the yellow, that he started abusing you.
Bitch. Stupid bitch. You're all gonna burn here, all you infidels are gonna burn. Bad words. Terrible words. Normally you can take it, but not on a call like this.
The noise. Let's get back to that. Was it still there, all those factories?
I told you! It wasn't a bloody factory! Why don't you listen to what I'm trying to say to you? This is all wrong. Why did I agree to come here? You're just bullying me with all your subtle insinuations. I want a female officer brought in right now. I'm going down to complain.
You see, Peter's just downstairs while we were out. All female officers are out on sea.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I just keep hearing that thudding still in my head. What if it never ever stops?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Oh, it's my mum. You don't mind?
DCI train, Peters and I will find something to do.
I'm still with them. No, not really. I haven't heard any more. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. No, there's no need. Jane, Trusser and everyone have been wonderful. Really supportive. They said if there was anything they could do. Besides, Tony is here with me. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Really. Yes, no, really, I'm fine. Yes, I'm okay. I feel okay. Tony is here with me now. Yes, he's sitting right next to me. He says hello. Great. Yes. Happy Christmas to you too. All finished.
Are you all right?
Fine.
Parents. I have this mother-in-law who insists on ringing just as Chelsea are about to kick off on Sky. I swear she has these antennae.
Shall we get back?
Yes, of course. Mum lives in Wales, hundreds of miles away, but it always feels like she's in the next room.
Well, she must be very concerned.
I told her not to come. Not all this way. I mean, I don't think I could possibly handle. Only I had to lie about Tony.
Your husband?
Oh, business partner. Tony Ramsey? We run a mail order company. Traditional Welsh jewellery. Business grew so fast in the internet boom, but now it's much tougher, what with Amazon and the rest. Still, we get by. I'm not married. Well, actually, I was. But that was all a long time ago now. Nothing to do with anything, really, is it? Sorry to bore you with all this stupid rubbish.
You're not boring us.
He died, you see. My husband. Fog along the M4 corridor, they said on the radio. Only he never ever listened to anything but Radiohead when he was driving.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Oh, what happened years ago? Another age.
Any children?
We tried. You don't want to hear about all of that. I do sometimes wonder, though, if maybe I could foster or adopt. But then I suppose I'd need another.
I had this friend at college. Wife had her ovaries removed, and a few months later they took the plunge, phoned up the local children's department. They both said it was an amazing experience.
Adopting?
I think it was a foster child.
I have 2 little nephews and a niece. I get to see them every couple of months or so. It's really great. It's such fun.
Where were we? A young man was shrieking at you. You were having a rather tough time of it, but you were doing your best not to lose control. Can you remember what else he was saying? Try to replay it in your head.
Stupid words. Cliches. I wanted to laugh. He kept saying, "It's the big one." You hear me, lady? It's the big one. You people never seen anything like it. Stupid macho crap. But I knew whatever he was saying, whatever I was thinking, I had to find the strength to get it out. So finally I broke right across him. I shouted, "I know who you are. And you must tell me the exact time, the exact place. You bloody well must do this." I think I must have hurt his ear because he went very quiet. I thought, oh God, I've gone and done it now. Then he gave it to me. Just like that. His little Christmas present. I think his friends must have written it down for him on a piece of paper. Redland Street. 150 metres north. Left-hand side, red Fiat Punto. Parked opposite. Boots. And that was it. The phone went dead. I felt it too. Dead. And wet. My fingers were so wet. Where did all that sweat come from? I must have been wiping it off my face while I was on the call, only I don't remember a thing about that.
What time was it exactly?
I'm sorry?
The time the call ended?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, you said the call lasted roughly 10 minutes, so 11:40 maybe.
No. It wasn't that late. About 11:30, I'd say. Yeah. Around then. It was so quiet in the phone room. I remember thinking, this is unreal. And then Right after that, I picked up the phone to make the 999 call. I'll just drink the rest of this tea down now, if you don't mind, before it goes completely cold. My mouth's so dry. I'm making a terrible mess on your carpet.
We'll blame it on the decorators.
I remember once I took this call less than a year after my training up. I was on the line for 20 minutes, silence, just silence, and suddenly this tiny little voice came across the line, hardly more than a whisper. It's done. Like Jesus on the cross. Consummatum est. I remember thinking that. I put the phone down after another 30 minutes. Silence. My team leader said it was the only thing to do. But I've often wondered about that call. Who it was. And what did those words mean? It's done. What does it say at the bottom?
I beg your pardon.
The last paragraph of the yellow.
It says you put the phone down and call the emergency services.
I wrote that.
Yeah. See?
That's a lie.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I tried. My hands wouldn't get... They just kept slipping over the numbers. Everything was wet. My fingers were so wet. I wanted to dry them on something. I got up. I was breathing so fast, like I'd been running.
A hyperventilation?
Oh, that's it. That was it. We get callers with them all the time. Panic attacks. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't make the call. I got up. I was panting so hard. I thought to myself, if you just drink something, Fran, your breathing will slow and you'll be able to make the call. But then some stupid person had left a pile of stale Christmas cake next to the drinks, hadn't she? Everything went flying. And the glass just rolled away from my fingers across the floor, just like the pen. It didn't break, it just rolled away across the floor. I tried to pick it up, but it just slipped. Everything was just slipping out of my hands. It was so wet. Everything was so wet. How long was I like that? I lost all track of time. And all the time I just had this stupid tune playing in my head. Oh, Happy Talk, do you know it? Happy talky talky, happy talk. What was the film? You've got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how you gonna make a dream? Strange what things you'll do to stop phoning the emergency services.
South Pacific.
South Pacific, that was it. How did you know?
A mother-in-law again. A big influence on my cultural life.
You must be thinking, why didn't she call? She's done the difficult thing, for God's sake. What could be easier than picking up the phone?
We weren't thinking that.
But then how do I know you're not lying, just like me?
We wouldn't lie about a thing like that. Would we, Jim?
No, indeed.
So what would you lie about? When did it come in?
I'm sorry.
My call.
Which call?
You know which call I'm talking about. My 999 call, for God's sake. Don't patronise me. I know you've got everything written down there in front of you.
$11:52.
I'll say that again.
Of course. The time and hour log, 8 minutes to midnight.
Oh, God. But that's so late. What was I doing? How could I have taken such a long time?
Well, you were doing your best.
How do you know that?
You can't be sure when that first call ended.
No. But you people can. Don't tell me that you lot don't keep electronic records of all our calls. Well, don't you? So how long was it? How long was I on the line to them?
11.5 minutes.
11.5 minutes. So I was stumbling around the phone room in my stupid fit of panic for over... Oh, that's impossible. This is turning into a nightmare. How many less would have died if I... Maybe I need a lawyer. Isn't that what people usually say at this stage? I'm not going to say another word until I have my lawyer sitting here beside me. Will you be arresting me for manslaughter now, then?
It's not about that, my dear.
Then what is it about?
It's about talking. Right. And remembering every detail, the smallest thing, getting that tiny bit nearer. It can all help.
Who? Them? Not them. Not those people. They're dead. All 18 of them. And I killed them. I may as well have set the bomb off myself.
Listen, Francis. People who did this, the real culprits, the only culprits. We are here to find them. You are helping us. Everything you say is helping.
Did he die? That young boy?
I have no knowledge of that.
Someone downstairs said she'd heard that there was gunfire outside a tube station near the scene.
That isn't clear yet.
Jane said a forensic tent was put up in a shop entrance.
The wildest rumours,
We must stick with the known facts.
You're lying. Oh, you're all bloody lying to me, aren't you? He's dead.
What do you mean? Why would you say a thing like that?
That poor crazy kid. No, he couldn't help what the others made him do. They just filled up his brain with all those mad ideas. It just brainwashed him like all the others. Oh my God. He's just 16 years old and now he's dead. This heat. Would you believe it? I almost died in the tube.
Sit over here, it's cooler. You don't remember me?
Pardon?
DC Peters? Andy. I was one of the interview team 6 months ago on Christmas Eve. Actually, my colleague did most of the talking. Larry, DCI frame?
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, you look so different. I remember now. You took notes and then later you brought tea and biscuits. Are you here for the inquiry too?
Oh, we always get top billing.
Strange, isn't it? Odd after all this time.
Yeah, it is.
I thought there'd be lots of us.
Well, people get invited at different times.
Oh, I see. I suppose that makes sense. So, what happens now?
Oh, we get called. That door where you came in, court usher will appear and bellow out a name. They'll have to ham it up. Larry's in there already giving evidence.
Oh, I see. So he's here too.
So how have things been?
Oh, all right. Of course, they were terrible at first. All that publicity. Why do newspapers do it? The pictures of those poor dead people. But the worst is when it's gone from the papers and the TV screens and you just feel this awful empty space.
The phones must be a support.
I'm sorry?
Oh, your work on the helpline, I remember you saying it did you a lot of good.
I don't go there anymore.
Oh, I see.
Actually, I never went back after that night.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Needed a change, take a break from it all, put things behind me. They wrote me this really nice letter, the directors of the branch, offering all sorts of support and saying if I ever wanted to return, there'd always be a place.
Well, that was very thoughtful of them.
Yeah. They were all very kind. Strange that I didn't recognise you when I came in. But then, we didn't speak much, did we? Although you probably know everything there is to know about me. What a long night that was. Christmas Eve.
Yes. Christmas Eve. Actually, I'm rather glad we've met again. Only I felt rather bad after what happened.
Oh.
Coppers. We think we're the bee's knees, saving the nation from all its demons, but I suppose sometimes we don't quite live up to the myth. Oh, you must have got so frustrated with all our questions. And then at the end of it all, when you got all upset, well, you've probably forgotten all about it.
Oh, I remember.
Well, it's just that in the circumstance, perhaps we were a bit, insensitive.
Have we ever had such a summer? I thought I'd fry to a crisp in the tube. Were you very hot on the way in?
Taxi. Air conditioned. One of the perks.
Oh.
Actually, I didn't quite say what I meant just then. About that night. You see, in our line of work, we see all sorts of things. The best and the worst of human nature. After a while, everything just gets taken for granted. I've seen coppers even laugh and joke in front of a corpse. And People like us have to cut off, I suppose. It's how we survive. But it was different for you. It wasn't a paid job for you there on the helpline, was it? And you made that decision every night to talk to those people, to confront all that pain, that evil. There's no other word for it, is there? Especially on Christmas Eve.
Evil, yes. I'd call it that too.
And coppers meet horrors every day. It's like the weather, but there you were, all alone, trapped on the telephone with an angry teenager wanting to blow up a street full of people. I don't... Oh. I'm sorry, you're upset. I've been really stupid.
It's all right, it's just...
Oh, fool, I should have realised.
Right, I'm okay now. Actually, I've been doing really well until recently. Back at work. Off of those stupid tablets. Beginning to feel almost normal again. But then you see, I got the letter of the 20th of June. Did the court send you one too? It all came rushing back.
Can I do anything?
No, it's all right. I'll be fine in a minute.
Pick a card, any card?
What? I'm sorry? I don't understand.
Trust me. Just choose. Oh, don't let me see. Three of hearts.
That's amazing. How did you do it?
The old man. Millwall's magic maestro. Toddler's birthday parties, 20 quid a throw. Put it all in a post office savings account to top up his railwayman's pension. I'll keep his marked pack on me for emergencies.
I suppose they're all invited.
Who?
The families? Not that I mind.
Oh, they'll come next week. The court tries to be understanding.
Oh, that's good. And not that I would object.
No, of course.
There were so many reporters outside when I arrived. Thank God nobody knew me. Helpline volunteers were always anonymous. Did they bother you much?
Head down, arms over your bags, barge right through. All part of basic training. There's a back door, you can use it later if you like, when you leave.
Thank you. That's very kind. I still dream about the call, you know. It's funny. I never worried about the important things, just something stupid like the fact that I've got a broken nail on my finger or the phone cable's got twisted around my chair and I can't get it free.
Is he in the dream?
Who?
The kid.
Syrian, they said in the papers. Just 15. No. He's not in my dream. Although the voice is sometimes there. But there's no young man, with or without a beard. Strange how dreams work sometimes, isn't it?
Did they offer you PTC?
Beg your pardon?
Oh, post-trauma counselling. It's given to victims.
Oh, but I wasn't a victim, was I? Well, actually, they did write me this letter offering support, but I thought it was best to put it behind me, focus on the future, work out where my life was going.
Yes, that does make sense.
Or I even phoned up the foster care people the other day. They were really nice. They said there were a lot of people my age. Of course, I'd have to have a steady partner, but you never know what's round the corner, do you? It's so important not to give up hope. Sorry. Here I go again. I never used to be like this. Now it happens all the time. But would Jane Trusser and the others at the helpline think of their ex-colleague blubbering at the top of a hat? Thank God I don't take any calls anymore. I'd be a riot. Oh.
You could ask for a postponement if you're not feeling up to it.
Oh, I'd never do that. I'm quite prepared to answer all their questions, just like I was that night with your colleague, Mr. Frame. I really want to help you, see. I really want to help everyone get to the truth.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Did you ever see him?
Who?
The young boy on the phone? I wondered maybe you'd been to the mortuary, or if there was a post-mortem you may have...
We saw his body at the scene.
Oh. When was that?
About an hour after it happened.
But that was before. I don't understand. So you knew, but you didn't say? You let me believe that...
No, you've got it wrong. You see, it wasn't my decision. Larry, DCI Frame, was in charge of the case, so I really couldn't say anything at all at the time. You understand now?
Yes. I see you. You couldn't say at the time. Yeah, I do understand. What did he look like?
I really don't. I can't remember, I'm sorry. It was only for a couple of seconds. They were checking for entry wounds and so forth, and then everything got covered up for scene of crime.
Yes, of course, and it was so wet that night, wasn't it? Yeah, I do understand. So, you didn't see anything then?
Not that I can remember.
No beard?
He was lying on his stomach. His face was the other way. I really couldn't say.
That card trick of your dad's is amazing. You'll have to teach it to me sometime. But then, this is probably the last time we'll see each other, I suppose. I wonder when that man will come and call us.
Shouldn't be too long now. Yeah.
Actually, I was quite angry about what happened. The interview, I mean.
I'm sorry, we try to be sensitive.
Do you? Yes, I'm sure you do. But then it's your job, isn't it? And as you say, you try to feel as little as possible and even laugh and joke in front of dead bodies.
Oh no, I didn't mean it.
Do you remember how we spoke that night about the mind-making boundaries? I wonder if that's what it's always about. Either you You make a boundary in your mind, you learn not to feel, or you just get crushed. But then I'd had all that experience, hadn't I? All that training, all that experience, 10 years of it. How could I have gotten so confused that everything get on top of me like that?
You should talk to someone.
What? Call a helpline. I'd be a red call. I'd be no hoax.
A therapist can be amazing in these situations. There's one I could call if you like. He's helped lots of victims.
But I told you I wasn't a victim. Sorry. Really, it's okay. Be fine. I think it's best you see if I just try to work it out on my own. At least then I can feel the things I feel.
I do understand. Cry all you want.
Oh, for God's sake, don't say that. Just tell me about the boy. Anything. His shoes, the colour of his hair, his eyes. Anything. I just need to be able to see him, don't you understand? I'm so fed up of all those voices, all those stupid, invisible, bloody voices on the end of the line. I just need to be able to see him. I need to be able to touch him. I need to know who he really is.
Andrew Peters.
Oh, that's me. Look, if you want to get in touch, I do want to help.
Thanks. Actually, there is one thing.
What's that?
The young boy on the phone. There must have been some kind of funeral. I know this might sound crazy, but do you know if there's a grave somewhere that I can visit?
Right. Not to anyone I gave you this.
I won't. Thanks.
Oh, and go back to the helpline.
Yes. Maybe I will.
Mr. GPH, a God-praising holy man. A God-praising holy man. GPH, a God-praising holy man. So don't be sinners. That's the solution, son.
You lied
Francis?
that night. You knew that boy was dead. Your colleague just told me. He said he saw him lying in the street an hour before we even met.
Not allowed to divulge.
Don't give me that bloody cliched shit. You lied.
Yes, I lied.
I was right all along. Sarah, David, Jonathan.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch.
I was just calling out their names. The children I might have had. I've given them names. How crazy is that? And I thought the helpline would save me. Bloody fool.
I'm so very sorry. It's strange how events can sometimes connect up, isn't it? You and your past life are now in this very different kind of...
How did he come to die?
I beg your pardon?
The young boy on the phone. The paper said so little at the time, and yet now you tell me that he was lying dead in the street even before we met that night. He lay on the ground, your colleague said, while they were checking for entry wounds. He lay on his stomach. Oh God. That was what he said. That was what your colleague told me. No wonder there was nothing about it in the papers. He said he couldn't see a face because the boy was lying on his stomach. Well, don't you see? Don't you understand? Your people must have shot him in the back. No wonder there was a cover-up. A 15-year-old boy murdered by police. Why did they do it? You were in charge that night, you said. What do you people call yourselves? Counter-terrorism? Is that what counter-terrorism means?
That's ridiculous. Please. Sit down. I'll get you some water. You know, Francis, I really think you should see someone. These wild ideas are simply a reflection of your repressed anger and guilt.
My guilt. What about you? What about what you did? What did you tell those people in there? Did you tell the Inquirer that a young boy, a 15-year-old boy, was murdered by police while he was running away? Did you?
All our officers are highly trained professionals.
Did you give the order? Did you?
Francis Griffith.
You, have to go in now.
You gave the order.
Power of the who from below hast made me rise unwillingly and slow from the pits of everlasting snow. Seest thou not how deep, how stiff and wondrous so far unfit to bear the bitter cold. I can scarcely move or draw my breath, can scarcely move or draw my breath. Let me breathe again. Let me freeze again to death. Let me free.